It's not quite Christmas yet, but boy, was Brock Purdy handing out some presents tonight on Monday Night Football. You got to love what you saw from the 49ers, who just keep winning. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast, part of the Pro Football Insiders. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. That man is Levin Black. The San Francisco 49ers just keep rolling along. Alert ESPN, Levin. The quarterback story of the game is Brock Purdy, who put up 5 tutties.
Yeah, other than what we'll get into with the other side of the ball, the most frustrating thing of this game was definitely the entire first half being, oh, the Niners got a first down. Show Phillip Rivers being frustrated on the side. I don't give a flying F what the other quarterback is reacting to when he's sitting on the sidelines. Stop it.
Yep, I agree. And I get it. There's nothing else to talk about with the Colts because they've been bad, because they've been losing. But my God, Brock Purdy threw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdown passes in the game. A career high, by the way. The first 49ers quarterback ever to throw 5 touchdowns on Monday Night Football. How about that? And all they want to talk about is Phillip Rivers. And I get it. He had a good first half, right? But in the second half, here are the Colts' possessions. Field goal, touchdown, punt, pick, turnover on downs. Like, they didn't do anything in the second half, just like they didn't do anything in the second half against Seattle. The story of the game was Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense, which hasn't punted in the month of December.
And it's almost Christmas.
Yeah.
They have a chance to go an entire month without one next week. But Brock Purdy has now done something that Joe Montana never did. He has now thrown 8 touchdowns with 1 or less interceptions in a 2-game span. Steve Young did it. Jeff Garcia did it. Now Brock Purdy did it. Joe Montana never did it. Joe Montana only threw for 8 or more touchdowns in a 2-game span once, and it was 9 touchdowns, which is the team record. He's the only one to get 9, but he had 3 interceptions when he did it. But it's also the first time because each quarterback has done it once now. There are 4 instances of a 49ers quarterback throwing 8 or more touchdowns in a 2-game span, and this is the first one in 25 years.
Brock was as good as he has been since 2023. He was absolutely almost perfect in this game. Threw a pick late that went through Kendrick Bourne's hands. But other than that, I mean, he was absolutely perfect. Chris Waddell, thank you for the super chat, says 2 sacks and a pick 6. Steel curtain, anyone? Who needs 5 T's when you can get 7? I really wanted Purdy to get a 6th touchdown, but Bourne ruined it. Yeah, I have said the Niners need 5 T's, a combination of touchdowns and turnovers. They got to get 5 in order to win. They did that tonight for the record. D Winners with a nice pick 6 at the end to ice it for us. Frustrating night for the defense, but this offense was rolling. Christian McCaffrey with as much room as we have ever seen against a Colts team that was coming in allowing 3.7 yards per carry on the season. Christian McCaffrey goes 21 carries, 117. That's 5.6 yards per carry. Everybody on offense, A+, no notes.
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, there were 2 big narratives, 2 things that people thought they could count on. One was the Colts defense will be able to limit Christian McCaffrey carrying the ball. That 3.7 you mentioned in yards per carry allowed by the Colts defense, number 1 in the NFL coming into the game. The Niners dominated with the run game. What was the other one? Well, the exact opposite of that on the other side. The Jonathan Taylor was going to be near impossible to stop because this 49ers defense can't stop the run. What happened? Jonathan Taylor got shut down.
He did nothing. 16 carries, 46 yards in the game. He did have a touchdown. It was like a 1-yard touchdown run. 2.9 yards per carry for Taylor, 2.9 yards for the Colts on the night. It was phenomenal. Phenomenal by the offense, phenomenal by the run defense, phenomenal by the Niners special teams. Thomas Morstead, except for you. You know what, Thomas Morstead? You didn't do a damn thing tonight because he hasn't punted in the month of December. Gabe Garoni says another Morstead game. We got a bunch of super chats here. Gabe also says no Debo, no Ayuk, no Pearsall, no problem, because George Kittle was a beast in this game. 7 catches, 115 yards and a touchdown. Got hurt at the end. So, of course, we got to hold our breath. Look like an ankle injury. But they feature him as a wide receiver every time they do it. It works out. They need to do it more. The man he's at the top of his game.
Yeah, I mean, Kittle right now is the last couple of weeks. This is what people thought we were going to see during the season, and then the injuries happened. But it's crazy, and I think it's one of the underrated storylines of all these top teams, right? What do you got for top team? And you got the Rams. Oh, they have Puka Nacua. Oh, the Seahawks, they have Jackson Smith and Jigba. The 49ers, here's a stat for you. Who leads amongst wide receivers the team in yards this season?
In wide receivers?
Wide receiver, yes.
Is it Jennings now?
Jennings now has the lead at 566 yards. Puka Nacua has 573 yards in the last 3 games.
There's a slight difference in the way those two offenses are run. Sanan says, we have a run game now. We can pick off passes and take it to the house. That game was so awesome to watch. Morstead getting paid for doing nothing. When they showed him on the sideline, just like dropping balls, like practicing and taking, like, he's just doing nothing.
Can I get one game of this, please? I'll accept one game check, and I will be the punter for the 49ers offense.
Antonio says Purdy was unstoppable. I don't care about the interception. He had 2 misses all game, and that happened to be one. Only had 1 Avenger finish the game. I mean, they kept talking about Philip Rivers, but Brock was on it. I mean, they were motoring down the field. In the first half, the 49ers scored 24 points. They only had 3 third downs in the entire first half, and they had 5 possessions. That's how much this offense was steamrolling down the field. And it's good, Levin, because that's how it's going to have to be if the 49ers are going to win games going forward.
Yeah, because the secondary is cheeks, to put it nicely, because it might be the worst secondary the NFL has seen in quite some time. I mean, it is atrocious. And I don't know that there's much you can do about it. But you just look at the degree of difficulty. Go back, and you can see it from the broadcast game. Just watch the first 2 drives. You see Purdy looking off people and then going to his read. You see Philip Rivers doing what? Making a pre-snap adjustment after a motion, hiking the ball, staring one guy down and throwing to him because he's wide open. That tells you this defense is figured out. They knew, based on motion, exactly where the hole was going to be, and what Rivers was barking out, I guarantee, was to his hot receiver instructions on what route to run. Whether, it was a 5-yard out, a slant going to the inside, outside, whatever. He knew exactly where the soft spot was going to be in the zone. And I think the Niners changed up a little bit in the second half. You saw some more blitzes and things. I think they realized at halftime that the defense is just, it's figured out. You can't just keep running the zone and the team's not figured out.
Not some more blitzes, Levin. Some. They didn't blitz until the third quarter. They didn't blitz at all in the second half. You got a quarterback that cannot move, and they didn't. And then once they started blitzing him and they actually got pressure, he was basically inoperative, except for one completion to Tyler Warren. Once they started getting pressure on him, they stopped the offense. I couldn't believe that they were like, we can't blitz Philip Rivers. I almost wonder if Kyle had too much respect for him. And he was like, oh, you can't blitz Philip Rivers. He'll figure it out. I don't know. But once they made the switch, you could tell. It completely shut down the Colts offense.
Yeah, and this is where I stand with the secondary. Lenore, you got to bring back, even though he's
under contract.
Right. But at this point, I don't like what I've seen out of him lately.
Well,
but he's not so bad you're going to try to get out of the contract. So he's going to be back. Renardo Green, I would bring back. Everybody else, I don't really care. There are some that I definitely don't want back. But everybody else, I really don't care. They need two safeties. Mustafa ain't it. Mustafa is a come in on obvious rundowns. Like maybe Mustafa can be a first down safety, and then to kind of spell other guys. But he's not a starter. Brown is not a starter. Stout, he's shown promise, and I guess he's a rookie, so I'm okay if he comes back. But he's also given up more plays than probably anybody in that secondary this season. And all the other DBs, they bring nothing. Luter was terrible in this game.
Terrible. Yeah.
Like there's just nothing there. It's not they need to retool the second. No, you need to boot everybody and bring in a whole different one.
It's going to be rough the end of the year, but we just got to hope that Purdy, by the way, I guess Purdy was sick all week. He had a cold or something. So he threw 5 touchdowns under the weather. Phenomenal by Brock. Anthony Nagatani says CJ West has arrived. Nice to see CJ get a sack. Alfred Collins forced a fumble on Phillip Rivers. That was nice to see as well. I continue to say I think Collins is the best pick of this draft class for the Niners. I know people like Stout, and maybe he will be a better player, but right now, to me, it's Alfred Collins, man. Stout has made one impact play to me that I can remember, and it was against Arizona. It was a 3rd down. Cardinals are trying to kill the clock, and Stout, his receiver caught the ball, and he knocked it out of his hands. Great play, and that let the Niners get the ball back, and ultimately they went down and won the game. But to me, that's Stout's only impact play of the year. Alfred Collins has had a ton of good plays. To me, he's the best. Nice to see the defensive line get a push. They did it just enough, and that's going to be the formula for the Niners on defense. Do just enough.
Pretty much. I mean, one turnover is enough. Special teams also had a turnover, so there were 2 turnovers.
Yep.
So there were actually 8 T's in this game. 2 turnovers, 6 touchdowns. But Alfred Collins, I think, not only is probably having the best season amongst the rookies, although because of injuries, it's not as long of a picture there. But I think he's shown that he has the highest ceiling because he's somebody I think he can be, if he reaches his ceiling, a true difference maker there. Potential like Pro Bowl or All Pro type defensive. Like he has shown flashes of, that's something not very many defensive tackles can do.
11-4 feels great, baby, says Antonio. Yes, it absolutely does. Joser says, I was so annoyed about Rivers talk while Brock is throwing 5 touchdowns. Like, come on. Also made money on prize picks, over $600. Some of your picks, most of my own. Well, that's a good night for you. Congratulations. You should be using all of our picks, but thank you. Roadhog says, anybody else see 53 run back a pick 6 and not think of Bowman versus Atlanta?
Immediately it popped in my mind. Actually.
To ice the game. Yeah. Runs it back 7 miles for a touchdown. That had to feel good for D Winners too. I mean, this linebacker
and the defense. I mean, the other turnover was special teams. The defense had done nothing in that game, and that flips it. I mean, they gave up 27 points, not good. They gave up quite a few yards, not good, but they have some positives that they can take. It's not a flush the film game. They stopped the run. Okay, now repeat that. Because you were getting torched in the run game. And then the pick 6 gives you like a nice pat on the back. Hey, we clinched the game with that pick 6.
You are going to need to stop the run next week against Chicago too. So whatever they did, keep that going. Becca 49er says, 1 down, 2 to go. Happy I can finally catch a live. Thank you for all the support, Becca. YouTube channel member for 20 months. We really do appreciate that. Chris Waddell says, is 1,000 in reach for Christian McCaffrey? No. They were checking it down to him. They didn't seem to dial up the receiving plays to McCaffrey as much. He ended up with 6 catches for 29 yards in the game. Did have 2 receiving touchdowns, by the way.
He came in needing 180 yards. He now needs 151 in 2 games. It would take a game of getting well over 100 to keep the door open.
Jason 49er says, first pick 6 in 2 years, by the way. No, Warner had a pick 6 on the broken ankle against the Patriots last year. That was a pick 6. So
was it a pick? Wow, I was at that game and I can't remember.
Edgar 9 says D was focused on stopping Taylor. Check. They absolutely did. I mean, that's an impressive performance against a running back that the Niners have had maybe since Bijan Robinson against the Falcons.
I mean, they did what you needed, I think. If they were able to have the run game with that pass game, the Niners might have ended up losing this game, even though they won by 21. It was the fact that they made them one-dimensional, so they couldn't have these easy plays where it's like, all right, we got to 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3. they had to pass. And often they were able to convert those third downs. How many third downs did they convert of 3rd and 7 or more? Because I think there's at least 6 of them. I mean,
The
there were a
Colts?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were not like, they were just throwing short passes or check down passes. I was really stunned at how they came out in the first half of this game, because to me, it was like Rivers can't throw. Like the throws down the field, it looks like Phillip Rivers was throwing a bowling ball. Like it
was
looked
weird.
hard for him to get them. His arm was cooked a half a decade ago. It's not a knock on Phillip Rivers. He's 44, but like,
well, it's weird because there were some like 10-yard throws that you could see the bullet still. It was weird because like he had good spin on the ball, except for when he threw 20 plus yards, and then it would suddenly be this wobbly pass. It was like, that's just weird. Like, how can you have a fastball and you can throw a tight spiral, but then when you try to throw it deep, it just wobbles?
to me, he didn't have any fastball. He looked like he was shot putting a lot of those. Look at the throw to Winters on the pick six. Like, I mean, it always looks awkward with Rivers. That's just who he is. Benjamin says, as much as I enjoy watching the Niners every week, I enjoy listening to you guys in the Gold Standard Network 6 days a week. Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. We appreciate the donation. Al Sacco has a great tweet. 49ers head coaches with the most 11-plus win seasons. George Seifert had 6. Kyle Shanahan is number 2 with 4 on the list. We said it. You know,
that stat does not compute to me. George Seifert, not only does he have 6, but he has the most.
Dude, George Seifert was people sleep on him.
I know, but it's like 6. I wouldn't have thought he was coaching that long, I guess. I mean, that's kind of before my time because I started watching after that last Super Bowl. So I feel like I missed a lot of the Seifert years, but I just, in my mind, he only coached like 4, maybe 5 years. That 6, 11 plus 1. I guess they were winning 11 plus every single season, but
he coached 8 years in San Francisco. He went 14-2, 14-2, 10-6, 14-2 again, 10-6, 13-3, 11-5, 12-4. Like he's got 2 Super Bowls. He should be in the damn Hall of Fame. That's my George Seifert rant. Sorry, that's one of my hot button issues. Let's see. Let's get back to more of your supersets. AAA84 says Kyle's in his bag. The defense needs to step up. Their offense they shredded the Colts. And this is a Colts team that held Seattle without a touchdown. Like, this is not a bad defense. A lot of people are like, easy schedule. Oh, you played the Cardinals up.
And they got Buckner back.
They had Buckner back. They just held one of the better offenses in the league without a touchdown. They were at home, and the 49ers destroyed them. They absolutely destroyed the Colts. No punts for the 49ers. 440 yards of total offense for the 49ers. It was comical out there trying to watch the Colts defense. Kyle was absolutely in his bag.
How many points do you think they're averaging during this win streak?
30?
34.4.
Oh, there's your 5 touchdowns right there. That's your 5 Ts. That's incredible. Now, 7, of course, tonight was scored by D winners, or 6, I guess, technically, but still.
Well, yeah, but that's not how that statistic works.
I know. Matthew Rowley says, on the plus side, the defense is so bad, there's a chance Saleh doesn't get a head coaching job. It was
so we can talk about it because I know you went a little bit back and forth with Vish on this. I think it was this past week. I don't know. I don't like some of the things that Saleh is doing. You know, I think it was the second touchdown. It might have been the first one where they had one-on-one against the Colts' best wide receiver going down the field to the center on a 3rd and 16 and goal to goal. Like, how do you have one-on-one on that? How do you not have safety help there in the center of the field with that also being their best receiver? Like, that part didn't make sense, but overall, it's not realistic to think this defense can shut people down because it's not just the talent's not there. Like, I was thinking about this at the start of the second half. I was like, this defense is essentially a preseason defense. This is a defense that would play the first half of the last preseason game. You know, they're not the last guys. They're not the guys trying to make the roster, but they're the clear backups. Like, how many guys that were on the field for the defense would be guys that would be held out completely of that last preseason game? 3, maybe?
Yeah, it was This is what they got. This is what they're going to have to go to war with. We're going to have to get ready for a lot of shootouts in the playoffs. It's going to get tougher with Chicago next week, and of course with Seattle the week after that. And we're just going to have to hope that Brock and the offense keep it rolling. At Beats and Meat says on the ESPN Madden View Altcast, Luke Kuechly called out what Rivers was saying. Orlando was a hot route. He said it, and D Winters heard it too, knew what the play was, and jumped the route. Well, good on you, D Winters. And I bet Fred Warner loved that watching in the booth. Yeah, I bet Fred was jumping. Well, maybe not jumping.
I was just gonna say, hopefully he wasn't jumping up and down.
Well, maybe he's going off the other foot. I don't know, but he had to love that. Has to feel good for D Winters. Tremendous play when really look, it was dicey there. The Niners turned it over. It's a 2-score game. There was 4 minutes to go. Colts were gaining some momentum. If they had scored a touchdown there, it would have been butt clench time. But instead, D Winters gets the pick. He runs it all the way back for a touchdown, and the 49ers win a game by 21 points where their opponent scored 27 points.
Now here comes the wet blanket. Just win the last 2 games, because otherwise this is a game I would have preferred they lose. Why? Because if they're going to lose and not have a chance at the 1 seed, this was the game to lose because it allows them to rest people. Don't go out there and now blow it. Because now you got to go all out against Chicago. Potentially, you could still rest in the final week if you lose to Chicago. But just go get that 1 seed to make it all worth it.
There you go. Batman29 says, did you think that catch by Tondras was a touchdown? I did. Absolutely, it was a touchdown. 1,000%. But because Kyle Shanahan challenged that dumb play earlier,
he was scared.
Well, he was too scared to do it because he only had the 1 timeout left and he didn't know. It was absolutely a touchdown. Now, Brock Purdy was just on one tonight, so he just said, all right, I'll just throw it to Christian McCaffrey on the next play for a touchdown. But, yeah, I thought Ton just got robbed.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal catch.
Yes.
I don't really understand why he didn't. Because it wasn't a case of, they didn't really show the replay. No, they showed the replay twice. And somebody should have been telling him to challenge. So, for some reason, Kyle, I think, just said it's not worth it. I think he thought we got a good chance of scoring anyways because they can't stop us. And if we don't score, we still got the field goal. We're up to 2 scores and they can't stop us anyways. So it's not worth the timeout. But I disagree. If you see the replay, it's clear he scored, so challenge the dang play.
Yeah, I agree. Dario Castro says Purdy with 5 touchdowns, LFG. Apparently on the field afterwards, Brock said Kyle was in his bag, which, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. Yeah. Warlock says, yesterday you glowed like a little kid due to the 49ers making the playoffs. Are we that poverty of a franchise that making the playoffs is a success now? What happened to Super Bowl or bust? Well, first of all, Warlock, thank you for the donation. Yeah, I was super happy.
Second off, Warlock, Rob does not glow.
I was super happy that my team clinched a playoff spot without them having to do anything. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't be happy about that. Apparently, you can be happy about nothing with the 49ers except the Super Bowl. Nothing else good can happen. We can't be happy about anything else. We can't give anybody else credit. We can't give Kyle Shanahan credit. We can't give Brock credit because if you don't win a Super Bowl, no smiles allowed. That's where we are, Warlock. I'm sorry. That's not how I roll. You got to celebrate the journey as much as the destination, man.
I know what the W stands for in Warlock. Wet blanket.
Is this your burner level?
That would be funny. I should do that one of these shows. Get a burner in there.
Says silver lining of no pass rush. Caleb's best plays are usually while scrambling. Shouldn't have to scramble much against us. LOL.
Yeah.
Look,
I do feel more confident with the way they shut down the run though now against the Bears.
It's going to be wild. Just buckle up for that game. It is going to be wild. By the way, there's almost 1,500 people watching. Thank you so much, everybody. Please, if this is your first time checking us out, like this channel, subscribe to the channel, or like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're live after every game. We're live after all breaking news. We're live every single weekday. Please give us a chance. I promise you will like what you hear. We've got different shows, different hosts every day of the week. Check us out. I promise you won't be let down. Kurt Warner, 3706. Thank you for the super chat. Says, always great content. Take my money. Thank you. First of all, Kurt, I mean, if you want to hop on the show anytime, we'll take a Hall of Fame quarterback on the
I think he's been here before, and we confirmed that it's not the real Kurt.
No, it's the real Kurt. And no one can prove otherwise, damn it. Yeah, Carlo Garibay says, Old Man Rivers looked elite in the first half. Caleb will throw for 400 against this crap secondary if we continue to get no pressure on the quarterback. Maybe.
You want the good news?
What?
The Rams just lost a game in which their quarterback threw for 450, 3 touchdowns, and the team they were playing turned the ball over multiple times, and yet they still lost. So you can have the other team throw for 400 yards, and it does not matter.
I mean, look, styles make fights. Nobody thought the 49ers were going to be able to run tonight against the Colts. I didn't, by the way. I'm including myself in that. And they ran all over the Colts. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Let's get out there and see what happens. But I'm going to, I'm not going to be scared about it going into the game. Like, bring it on. We're at home. Let's see it. Who knows what the hell's going to happen when we're out there?
I got a good comparison or analogy for Purdy's season this year.
Well, you say it, and I'll decide if it's good.
This is actually a truthful one.
Look how proud of himself he is already. I see it on his face. Go ahead.
Well, you love my comparisons.
Let's hear it.
It is the year that Matt Stafford led the league in interceptions.
What about it?
Well, what happened that year? For one,
he won
they won the Super Bowl. But Stafford had 41 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. The 17 interceptions led the league. Purdy, if he were to have played every game, he would be on pace for a 41 touchdown, 19 interception season. It is a very similar season in terms of there are a lot of turnovers, more than you like. But as long as you get 41 touchdowns, they can be excused.
Yeah, if you're going to throw 5 touchdowns a game, nobody cares about the one pick. That's the thing.
We're not talking about one game. We're talking about his season as a whole.
Right. Well, you throw that many touchdowns, it compensates. NTD Nick says, now the Kendrick Bourne got his bonus. We can play Watkins. I'm so glad I don't have to hear about that anymore. Kurt Warner has gifted 5 Gold Standard Podcast Network memberships. Thank you, Kurt. We appreciate that. It's less than $3 a month. You get custom emojis, membership badges, priority comment response. It's a phenomenal way to support the show, and we appreciate all of our YouTube channel members. Andre Garibay says, the way this offense is playing this season, it would have been amazing to have a decent defense. They just got to keep putting up 40 plus because these DBs and pass rush stink. They have to go from horrible to mid. And one of the ways they can do that is by taking advantage of turnover opportunities. Now, they got the one on special teams, which is massive. Obviously, the pick 6 is massive. There was one other tip pass that wasn't caught. They have to take advantage of those opportunities because that's how they're going to get stops. They're not going to stop you, down after down after down enough times per game if the offense isn't rolling. So they have to be opportunistic.
Well, here's the good news. There's still hope for a decent defense come playoffs because there is hope Fred Warner returns.
Absolutely. I think with every win, the hope just increases that much more. Con JKJ says special teams and 2 turnovers help make the difference. They're going to have to help the offense going forward. This 49ers team plays complementary football. Even we saw it at the end of the first half, right? Colts get a field goal and we're like, oh, okay, there's 19 seconds left, whatever it was. And I'm thinking, hey, if Sky Moore gets a return here, they got a shot to get a field goal. And what happens? Sky Moore breaks off a nice return. They complete one pass and they attempt a 64. They had a shot at 3 points. Now, Pinheiro missed it by like an inch, but that only happened because Sky Moore had the return to set them up. They play very complimentary football this year's Niners.
Yeah, there's one stone cold fact from this game that nobody can question. The limit to Pinheiro is 63 yards.
It was so close. If they were outside and there was just like that much, it might have gone through. But it was
if the ball fell in a different, that's the funny thing about football is if it fell in a different way, there was a way in which that ball could have hit to where it would have bounced in, but most of it was on the outside, so chances are it's going to bounce out.
Joe JC says, we're whistling past the graveyard, but tonight the graveyard has the Colts in it, so we ball. Survive and advance is what we have said. And the Niners weren't perfect tonight. Perfect is not required for victory. And I think if there's anything we've learned from the 49ers this season, it's that. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right? Of course, there's things to clean up, but the offense was damn near perfect today, and the special teams was really, really good as well. And if you win 2 out of the 3 phases, you're going to win most football games that you're in.
This makes me wonder if our friend of the show, Benjamin, is still on the East Coast complaining about having to stay up late as he was Saturday night when he texted us. Oh, you guys have to do this every week? Yeah. And it's 3 to 4 nights a week during football season because once Saturday starts, it's 4 nights a week.
It is a labor of love, and I will never complain about that. Pizza 186 says nothing like a victory Monday on the same day the game is played. I should have had my t-shirt on. Stats, let's upgrade that hanger behind you to a wooden one. Show some respect. Hey, the hanger's doing the job, okay? That's where we're at. If somebody wants to buy me a nice frame, I'll frame the Kittle jersey. But for right now, the hanger's looking good.
Here's a little bit of advice for you. You see how I have the Young jersey hung behind me?
I see it there.
That's on a hanger. You know how you do it?
No.
I saw a TikTok or whatever. I don't even know what to call it because TikTok has become the thing, but it was a YouTube video of how to hang your things in your man cave so they don't look like an eyesore with the jerseys. The way in which you do it is you put 2 nails or 2 tacks in the wall, one on each side of the hanger, and you flip the hanger upside down and it hides.
Yeah.
Plus, I bought, you can't see it, but if you were to be in the room, you would be able to see it well enough. The hanger, I actually spent like $5 and bought 10 gold-plated hangers, so they're like, not gold-plated, but, they're cheap gold paint, so that they're Niner color or gold hanger.
Wow, thanks for that. We could just really make it a big difference.
Well, I used to have a man cave. Now I'm under the stairs, but my old house, I had a huge man cave that was a very deep, took 4 coats of paint, red, that I had like 15 jerseys along the wall.
Johnny Dell, who hosts our Thursday film show here on the Gold Standard 49ers Podcast Network, says that dude in the comments of our Thursday show saying Purdy was going to have a terrible game is struggling right now. We need to check up on him. Well, Purdy hasn't been at his best on Monday Night Football, but he was at his best tonight. Career high 5 touchdowns for Brock Purdy on the night. Had the 1 interception, but it went through Kendrick Bourne's hands. He was phenomenal, and he has been phenomenal, Levin, since the first half of that Panthers game. If you go back and look, starting with the second half of that Panthers game on Monday Night Football, Brock has been almost perfect in the way he has played.
Yeah, I mean, it's back to 2023. It's MVP Brock.
Yeah.
We're seeing it. It's MVP Purdy is back. If they continue this, then yeah, the Niners have a real shot at winning the Super Bowl. This is what it takes. This rendition of the 49ers, it's going to take a quarterback playing at an MVP level because the offense has to be able to dominate. I mean, just look at this game. If the offense came out and struggled early and then kind of turned it around, it very likely would have been too little too late. They would have been down 14-0 early if they didn't, score that first touchdown, and that's just the reality of this. This team cannot have a start slow game because they'll be screwed. It's just too bad of a defense to play that way.
Yeah, they really have a certain game script that they are going to have to go to. Kurt Warner is back. Thank you, Kurt. That's very generous. Says, imagine the performance with Pearsall healthy. We need him back and Kittle. Hope everything is good there. Good night, guys. Go Niners. Thank you, Kurt. On the Kittle front, Kyle Shanahan said he's unsure about the severity of Kittle's ankle injury. Quote, he played with it for a while and then it just got too stiff.
So I think he got it actually injured. It could have come earlier, but the first instance I saw him reacting to an injury was on that rollout where he caught it and got down to like the 3-yard line because he pulled himself out of the game after that. And he was standing kind of keeled over on the sideline, but then he came back in and it was that cut. When he tried to make a cut, the ankle just didn't have it. So I don't know if maybe he banged it up a little bit before that. And then on that reception, getting tackled, kind of completed the ankle injury rather than it was just that tackle. But that tackle definitely made it go to a different level.
Kicker update. Chris Waddell wanted a kicker update. He so wanted Pinheiro to hit the 64-yarder. Any update from Kyle acting weird the whole game, shaking and grabbing his head, then ankle? Yeah, he was shaking his head a little bit too. I wonder if he maybe got dinged up, seeing stars, so to speak.
I think he was trying to shake off the pain. I mean, I've had a dozen plus ankle sprains, and a majority of them, it's a throbbing pain where when it comes, like I've had multiple ankle sprains where I'm screaming every time it throbs because it was so painful. So I think his head shaking was the throb of the ankle pain coming in, and he's trying to shake it off and ignore it. Expert opinion there.
Yeah, thank you for that. Don't let ankle sprain. Like if they don't have Kittle, I mean, first of all, the playoffs have to take priority. I know the number 1 seed is what you want, but like he's got to be healthy and ready to go for the playoffs. Same thing with Pierce also. It'll be very interesting to see what they do with George the rest of the way here.
Thankfully, we got a 6-day short week, and the Bears got a 8-day. Wait, they got an extra day.
Great. Mike UA says, here for the Gold Hanger podcast. Not disappointed. Yeah, we don't need any more hanger talk here. Carlo Garibay says, geriatric Rivers farts dust, not a Hall of Famer. Well, I called him geriatric before we went on the air, and Levin was like, dude, he's like 3 years older than we are.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. I'll say this. If somebody didn't vote for Rivers to make the Hall of Fame, I would not argue against it. He would probably get my vote, but there's also a legitimate argument that he's the least clutch quarterback of all time amongst the good ones.
He's hurt by the fact that he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He's up there.
Charging is a saying because of him.
Yeah. And by the way, I mean, I did think of that tonight. They're down 14, right? They have a chance if they can get a quick touchdown. Maybe they get back into it, and he throws basically an immediate pick six.
Yeah. I mean, I like the guy. Early on in his career, I hated the guy because, it was Breeze versus Rivers, and people know my Breeze
guy.
Yeah. And so I didn't like him. And then, he was brash and arrogant, and he's smack talking other teams' players while he's on the sideline and things like that. So like he was amongst my least favorite for a majority of his career. But towards the end, like I think he flipped a little bit. He became a little more joyful, and it wasn't so much of just a pain in the butt. And I ended up, by the time he retired, I ended up liking the guy.
I have always liked him. I liked anybody. He's a Cowboy playing quarterback, and I love that.
Yeah. You want a great stat about his personal life, so to speak?
Okay.
His oldest was born in July of 2002. Riley Leonard, his backup, was born in September of 2002. Riley Leonard is younger than his oldest. That is hilarious.
Patrick Lucero says, where's the calls for Mac Jones to start? Yeah, stick with the hot hand, right? That's what a lot of 49ers people said. Stick with the hot hand. No, not even close. Catch these hands says,
catch these Shanahans.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Tired of the easy schedule talk. Rams have basically had the same schedule aside from the Lions, Eagles, and a Lamarless 1-4 Ravens team that scored 3 points. I'm not going to tell you the 49ers have had the hardest schedule in the league, but it's more difficult than it looked when it first came out. That's my only thing with the 49ers schedule. They're like 5th in opponent DVOA this year, 5th toughest. So that's just a fact. Again, I'm not telling you it was like the hardest schedule, but it was more difficult than it looked in May. That's my only point with the Niners schedule.
Yeah. Before this game, the Niners had 3 teams currently in playoff position. So there's 14 teams total, both conferences I'm talking about. 3 of them had a worse strength of schedule than the 49ers. And obviously the 49ers are going to massively improve their strength of schedule over the final weeks because they're playing 2 of the teams that are tied for the best record in the NFC to finish, which, by the way, the most overlooked anything in this game was the Bears, because they literally started talking about, the 49ers have to play the Seahawks. Right. I'm thinking, they're not even going to mention the Bears. Then they pop up the graphic of the NFC standings, and you see the Bears right there. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna bring up the Bears, and then they don't bring up the Bears. Then they pop up a graphic showing the remaining games for the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers. And I'm like, the Bears are there again. They're going to talk about the Bears. No, they talked about the Carolina Panthers. They had 3 chances to talk about a team that's tied for the best record in the conference, and they didn't talk about it.
Well, the Seahawks have 12 wins, so they're not tied, but I know what you're saying. The Bears still have 11 wins. Like, to just skip over the Bears is ridiculous. Like, they're really good. They're leading their division. That game might determine coach of the year, by the way. The winner of that Bears-Niners game next year, who knows? By the way, we should mention, since we're talking about NFC teams, that the win moves the Niners into the 5th seed in the NFC. And Kyle Posey has a good tweet. Kyle Posey of Niners Nation says, The Niners are wins against the Bears and Seahawks away from the 1 seed. If the scriptwriters are worth their salary, the 49ers get a bye and host the Bucs in the divisional round with Fred Warner returning against the team against which he dislocated his ankle. How about that?
I mean, give me the bye and I'll play whoever.
Right. That would be crazy. I mean, you want to talk about storylines. They would go nuts. It would be all Fred Warner graphics and rehab stories about his rehab and how much time he spent in a hyperbaric chamber and all that stuff.
Thinking about it, for the 49ers to play the Bucs in the divisional round, it means all the seeds would have to hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, and 4 would have to win in the wild card round because they reseeded after. So for the 49ers to play the 4 seed, the Bucs, it would have to be all of the home teams won in the wild card.
The Panthers currently lead that division right now, too, at 8-7. Now they're going to play Tampa Bay again before the end of the year. So we'll see how that all shakes out. But I continue to maintain that the Niners have a chance against anybody in the playoffs. Anybody. Maybe it's a small chance, whatever, but this is a crazy year. When their offense is playing the way it played tonight, when they're running the ball and Brock Purdy is throwing touchdown after touchdown, they're cashing in the red zone. They can beat anybody. I don't care who the opponent is. Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, pick your poison. I don't care. The Niners have a puncher's chance against anybody.
Yeah, and that's the interesting part of it is at this point, as you said, it's all gravy from here.
Mm-hmm.
If the 49ers end up losing the last two, oh well. Because guess what? If they lose next week, rest people in week 18. You know what I mean? Like the only way that there's not a benefit here is if the Niners beat the Bears and then lose the final week because they didn't get the benefit of resting. But like either way, they're going to be set up well for being able to go get a wild card win because they're very likely to play a team that they're very capable of beating. It could be the Bears again if they're, say, the fifth or the sixth or seventh seed playing the 2 seed. It could end up being the Eagles, or it could end up being the Bucs if they're in the wild card round, or the Panthers for that matter. So, like, any of these, I think, are winnable.
And by the way, if the Niners do have to go on the road in the playoffs, as Matt Lively pointed out on Twitter, the Niners are 7-2 on the road this season. That is the best road record in the NFC at this point. Now, Seattle is 6-1. Of course, they'll play in San Francisco. Actually, I think the rest of the Seattle's games are on the road. So who knows? But the point is the 49ers have played well away from Levi's, if they even have to go away from Levi's, depending on how these last 2 games shake out.
Yeah, and I think I know which team the 49ers would rather play if they have to play in the wild card. It would definitely be that NFC South team, not because of the record, but because it's nice and warm. Going to Philly,
Right.
Going to Chicago, going potentially to Green Bay because they could still overtake the Bears, although it's very doubtful. Like, none of those are very attractive.
Yeah,
there is, oh, by the way, a scenario that the Niners could play like at Seattle or at the Rams to open the playoffs, because if the Seahawks lose this next week and then the Niners lose to the Seahawks, I think there's a I don't remember. I guess the Rams would have to lose as well, but there's a chance that the Bears can get the 1 seed. It's not likely.
Yeah,
but in that scenario, the Niners could be traveling to a divisional opponent.
There's more, like, the permutations of this thing are all over the place. John V76 says Jake Ellenbogen, one of like 10 Rams fans, must be freaking out over the Rams dropping to the 5th seed. I love Jake. He's come on my show. I've gone on his show, but he's sitting there, oh, the Colts defense is terrible. It's like, dude, you can give Brock Purdy credit. Like, it's okay to just once in a while say Brock Purdy is
By the
good.
way, they're the 6th seed anyway. So
how about this? Brock is the first Niners quarterback to throw 5 touchdowns in a game in the regular season or the playoffs since Steve Young did it in Super Bowl 29 against the Chargers. Brock is the first to do it in a regular season game since Joe Montana in 1990 at the Falcons. That is a crazy stat. That is where Brock Purdy is. He is playing at an incredible level right now, and it's okay to say it. We can just say it. We don't have to disparage the Colts or disparage the other teams that he's played. Brock is cooking, and we can admit it. It's cool. We can see these games are on TV.
Yeah. If you want to respond to Jake, and his take that the Colts defense is terrible. It's like, okay, well, the Colts last week held the
Right.
Seahawks to what was it, 18 points? And what did the Seahawks do to the Rams? Oh, that's right. They put up almost 40 points on the Rams. So I guess the Rams defense is really the shitty one.
And like, what did the Seahawks do against the Colts offense? Nothing. So the Seahawks offense stinks. Like, just give credit, man. Just give credit. It's okay to just say he threw 5 touchdowns. Like, what are we doing here? Joseph Ernberg says positivity after this is crazy. 350 first round. I don't understand the tweet.
Yeah, I can't. Nothing's coming to mind on the 350.
Sorry, if someone in the chat can explain it to me. Sorry, I apologize, but yeah, I'm just like, I'm over the. If you want to sit there and like disparage Brock Purdy after this game, like, dude, against the Panthers, if you want to disparage him, I get it. He threw 3 picks. He didn't play well in the first half of that game. Tonight is not the night to be coming for Brock Purdy. Threw a career high 5 touchdown passes. What are we doing here?
Yeah, this is like the flip side to the Christmas game, right?
Right.
Through all the interceptions. So Brock right now is playing as well as any quarterback in the league. I think he came into the game 4th in the league in QBR, and I would imagine he improved his QBR after this game. I haven't looked, but if he doesn't have a 80-something QBR after this game, I would question it.
He has been, since he's come back from the injury, which, not the Jags game, I'm saying like the comeback after that, yeah. He's been phenomenal except for one half of football. Like, he has been cooking since that Carolina Panthers game, and they have needed every bit of it. They needed every bit of the points tonight, man. I know that the defense, got the pick, which lengthened it out, but they needed that. They were only up by 2 scores, and the Colts were driving before that happened. They needed every bit of what Brock gave them tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, there were a couple times it did get to 7 points at one point. And there was definitely in the first half. It was one of those games where you didn't feel comfortable, even though the Niners led almost throughout. The Colts took that early lead, but that was the only lead they had was 7-0. But at the same time, like, you were just never comfortable, and it was because the defense wasn't stopping them. So it was one of those cases where you're just going, if the Niners turn it over, or God forbid have to punt one of these times, the Colts are going to take control of this game.
Yeah. That was the thing you were worried about, and luckily they just kept Thomas Morstead on the sidelines and dominated. That's the way to go. By the way, there is a little bit of an update. Kittle said he believes he avoided a high ankle sprain, said he got hip dropped in the second quarter, and the ankle kept getting irritated as the night went on. Could we stop hip dropping the 49ers, please? Pearsall got it last week on the first play of the game. Kittle gets it this week. Leave us alone, okay? We have suffered enough injuries. You already got Kittle. In week 1, the injury gods came for George Kittle. Leave us alone.
It's bad luck. I'm torn, to be perfectly transparent, honest about the hip drop. I get that it causes injuries, but I also get that how else are you supposed to, I mean, these are professionals. How else are you supposed to tackle them other than grab onto them and drop your weight to slow them down?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything anybody's doing on purpose. I really
don't. No, I'm just saying, like, the whole hip drop, making that rule change.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know that that's a fair rule change, because it's so hard to tackle these players in the NFL. And it's not like somebody's doing something that leads to injury every time. You know what I mean? It's not as dangerous as a horse collar tackle, for instance.
No.
It does lead to a little bit more injuries, but it's also somebody, I mean, it's the standard way of tackling. Grab onto them and hold on.
How about this? I don't want to throw it up because I don't want to get demonetized, but apparently Trent Williams was on with SVP, and the crowd starts chanting one more year, and Trent Williams responds, "I'm nowhere near done." How about that from Trent Williams? Just to add a little cherry on top of tonight's Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it is odd, and yes, I'll say it. I'm surprised. He started the year poorly. I thought, wow, he's taken a huge step down. This should be his last year, because you see the train wreck coming next year if he continues at this rate. But as the season's gone on, he's gotten more and more like his old self.
And they said during the broadcast that Kyle told the ESPN team that Trent's healthier than he's been in the last 2 years. So I don't know how what mysticism that is working, but let's keep that up because
probably got a voodoo doll of like Kittle, and he just keeps messing with it so that he can stay healthy.
Right. Well, that's what Christian McCaffrey was, health vampire. He got hurt at one point in this game. He was grimacing on the sidelines. There was one possession where Kittle and McCaffrey went off and they were like grimacing. And I was like, oh God, here comes Tonjes. And maybe we'll finally see Jordan James. So congratulations, Jordan James. You were active in the game and you didn't play.
Yeah. Can the Niners just stop drafting running backs?
Matt Barrows had a good comment. He said the Niners are at full Jordan tonight because they had Jordan Elliott, Jordan James, and Jordan Watkins were all active for the first time all year.
Woohoo. Did any of them do anything?
I don't know. Jordan Elliott's been good against the run this year. I don't know what he actually did on the stat sheet. Frank says, Brock's been my guy since coming in midseason his rookie year and took Rookie of the Year. Well, he didn't win Rookie of the Year that year, but he's a dog once that helmet comes down. He played like it, and he's playing with a ton of confidence out there. And the thing that I like is, even though he's playing with confidence, he's protecting the football. He's not getting reckless. When you can play with confidence and still protect the ball, that's when good things start to happen. And that's why the 49ers were able to put up 48 points tonight.
It is a weird full circle if it ends up going down as Troy Aikman was predicting, that there's no reason to play Phillip Rivers after this. You got to see what you got in Riley Leonard.
Okay.
That the guy that kept Rivers from coming out of retirement, because Kyle Shanahan wanted to see what he had first, is the guy that beats him in his final game to make him go back into retirement.
I kept you retired the first time, and I'm sending you back this time, Phillip. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that is that'll probably be one of those things that Rivers will think about from time to time. Be like, that's the guy that I had a chance to go in on a Super Bowl team, and he ended up being too good, and then I lost to him in my final game.
Yeah, maybe he'll be like, damn, they were right. Respect. When Brock plays against potential Hall of Famers or Hall of Famers, he wins. Remember his first start against Brady? He completely outplayed Tom Brady that day. Now he's going to send Phillip Rivers back to retirement. We'll have more on the 49ers victory in a second. But first, this note from Sleeper. We use Sleeper for all of our picks, and you should too. The app is phenomenal. It couldn't be easier to use. They have picks on there. They have fantasy games, as you can see. They have news on there as well. Like, they got the news, the stats from the game, Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, JJ McCarthy stuff. It's a one-stop shop for all your football needs. Go and check it out. We give you picks every Friday on the show. And if you sign up, you'll get a free $20 entry. Just sign up. You don't even have to deposit money. If you want to deposit money, use our code GSP. You get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And it's pretty easy. All you do is pick higher or lower on a bunch of different statistical categories for your favorite players or players you hate, quite frankly, whatever you're confident in. But if you get your picks right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money on Sleeper. Who doesn't want to do that? Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Who gets your game ball tonight, Levin?
That's got to be Purdy. I mean, you can give it to somebody else because there's more than one game ball. But if you're asking first, it's no question got to be Purdy.
He gets number one, but if I had to pick somebody different, I will pick George Kittle, who, again, despite the injury and then missing a significant chunk of this game, caught 7 of 8 targets for 115 yards, 16.4 yards per catch, had a touchdown on a Purdy scramble where he extended the play out to the right. The Purdy-Kittle connection in the red zone specifically is phenomenal. I don't know how Brock Purdy is the only quarterback that figured out, hey, throw it to 85 when they get close to the end zone, but he has, and it's magic.
I actually kind of giggled on the replay. The Kittle caught it and got down to like the 2. Aikman pointed out that he actually had 2 options, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, yeah, Bourne is running the same route, just 5 to 10 yards further down the field, and it's the same amount as open. And it's like, if he throws it to Bourne, he scores a touchdown. But I think it was pretty clear in that moment that Purdy goes, I'm throwing it to Kittle because I know he's going to catch it and have a positive play. I'm not risking it to Bourne in that. So it's kind of funny that like he passed up a very likely touchdown to get a first down from Kittle.
And Ryan Jones in the chat points out Kittle could have had another touchdown. It would have been a one-handed grab, but we've seen him make that kind of catch before, so he could have had another one. Chris Waddell says, Gold Standard following show schedule this week. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, boys. Go 49ers. So we're going to have a regular show that we always have, our Tuesday show, 5 p.m. Pacific time with Jay and Steph. We're going to do that. You and I are going to have a show on Wednesday. It might be a little earlier than normal just because, we got Christmas Eve festivities going on.
Yeah, Benjamin Bear can get his butt up early this time around to listen.
Thursday, Christmas Day, we won't have a live show. I apologize. I like to try and do a show every day, but it's just not going to work out on Christmas Day. I will have a 49ers in 5 news update on the audio side in the morning, so you can go and download that on the audio-only side. It's just a news update of what's going on with the 49ers. And then Friday, I'll have the show with Michelle like we normally do. So it's going to be close to a full week. We will be sort of off Christmas Day. I apologize for that. If I could have made it work, I would have. But other than that, it's going to be full go this week.
Yeah, I get a 1-day break from you, and then I got to return to talk to you.
Lucky you.
3 times in a single week.
I know. You
get to talk to me and enlighten yourself.
You're welcome. How about this stat? This comes from Next Gen Stats on Brock Purdy. Brock threw 4 touchdown passes targeting outbreaking routes in Week 16, the most in any game since 2022. The 5 other quarterbacks who have done so since 2018 are Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, and Josh Allen. I'm just saying that's pretty good company.
Take that. Doesn't have enough arm strength, Grant Cones.
Like, Purdy has people think that Purdy has the arm that Phillip Rivers had tonight. I'm not telling you it's a rocket, but it's fine. It's tall enough to ride the bumper cars.
Yeah, I mean, I have compared it before when he had his elbow injury that he's like a young Chad Pennington. Very accurate. He is a very cerebral, smart quarterback, and he has just enough arm strength to be a threat for everything. If he has something that takes away from that arm strength, suddenly you get to late career Chad Pennington, where all he could do was throw it 10 yards or less.
I love Chad Pennington. When he was in the game, man, I loved that dude. Nice guy, apparently, too. I used to work with Herm Edwards at ESPN, and he had nothing but good things to say about Chad Pennington. He quickly pointed out every year Pennington stayed healthy, they made the playoffs. Like, he loves Chad Pennington.
No, and somebody's asking if it's sarcasm. No, Chad Pennington, before the injury that zapped his arm, was a budding star.
He was damn good quarterback.
He was the most accurate quarterback in the NFL before that injury, and he was incredibly smart, never turned the ball over.
Yeah, no, he was phenomenal. So now that's it. The 49ers get the win. They are 11-4. They have played 15 games this season. They have won 11 of them. There are 2 games left. They are both at Levi's. If the 49ers win both of those games, they don't have to leave Levi's for however long the playoffs goes. If they lose one or both, it's going to get a lot hairier. But damn, Levin, through all the adversity, all the injuries, all the doubt, and all the crap, the Ayuk stuff that has happened this year, 49ers just find a way to win.
Yeah, basically, if you play meaningful games in January, it was a good season.
And there we are. And they haven't punted in December. They haven't punted in December. Like December football, when everyone buckles down and the games ratchet up and all the games mean more and the weather gets cold and all this stuff, they haven't punted. That's absurd. This is why I say Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year. For that and so many other reasons. They're playing their best football right now. They've figured out who they are. They know exactly what they do offensively. And they're going to be a pain in the ass for anybody that plays them. And if they are at home, even more so.
And on a super related note, this comment says, and we don't like hair. Well, if you don't like hair, you're watching the wrong show because This is two guys in their 40s with a full head of hair.
Look at
Okay,
that.
so you're watching the wrong show. This is not two balding guys in their 40s. These are two guys that could pass for guys in their 30s because we have full.
By the way, if you want to talk hair, Steph Sanchez
Yeah.
on Tuesdays has the best hair of anybody on the network, and it is not close. So,
And Jay has the tallest hair of anybody.
did you notice Kyle was clean shaven today?
I did, yeah.
Speaking of hair, he's gearing up for the playoffs. There you go, Kyle Shanahan. I hope everybody has. Oh, Zach says Rob said things could get hairy. I guess that's where I came down with it. All right, well. Have a good holiday, everybody. Obviously, we'll still be doing shows before Christmas, but if this is the only one you happen to catch, thank you so much. Have a happy and safe holiday. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Please give us a chance if this is your first time checking us out. I promise you, you will like our coverage. It is compelling. It is passionate. It is objective, okay? We're not here to tell you things are horrible all the time. We are not here to tell you things are great all the time. Sometimes you might watch us and you might be pretty ticked off by what we say. Other times you may love it. And that's how you know we're objective. So just give us a chance and I promise you we will prove that we are worth your time. Levin, thank you as always. Go damn Niners. 11 wins, 2 more to go. Let's get this thing done.